That is really cool. This is the first time I've heard this.
After Chat GPT, one of the sectors which I got biggest funding is healthcare. Those detection of pneumonia through an X-ray report.
We were also trying to create something like that. Data. We did not get the proper data to train on.
It's such a good thing that whenever I look around, I see a lot of AI-based startups.
So there was recently one speech of Prime Minister Modi in the southern part of India. He was giving the speech, and live there itself he was talking in Hindi, but a lot of people were listening that in their regional language.
This is going to be a real-time thing.
Like, what would be the top 5 startup ideas for students?
So if you think there's a problem and there are a lot of hindrances in that process,
Yes.
then there is a chance of creating a business idea.
Hi Rishabh, welcome to the podcast. And actually, this is the second time you are doing this, but this time it will definitely work out, and we'll definitely create this one. So first of all, for the audience, I have already introduced. Yeah, I've already introduced you, but in your own words, explain and take us through your short journey.
Sure. Thank you, Pranav, for inviting me over for this podcast. It's
Yes.
wonderful to really talk about, from a young man like yourself, to really talk about how and what we can, discuss. So I'll just give you a little brief about me, about the firm, and everything. So,
Okay.
hi guys, my
Yeah.
name is Rishabh Nag, and I'm the co-founder at Humanli AI. We are a AI-based product firm, and we have got spread of different products in artificial intelligence virtue, wherein our product range starts from establishing solutions which are for enterprise. That's a bigger uh, enterprise solutions to healthcare, to an education, different sectors within the help of artificial intelligence. So that was a little introduction. So I come with close to 2 decades of experience. I've been as a C-level executive for multi-billion dollar firms across the globe. I've stayed in US, UK. I've worked with the top-notch firms. I'm Calcutta graduate, and for
Okay.
last 2 years we are building Humanly.ai. So thank you, Pranav, again
Yeah.
for inviting us over.
So tell us more about that. Yeah. So, but I wanted to ask you more in depth about Pragyaan GPT, like for students, how they are using and how you have created that.
School students, right from sixth standard, they can privilege, the art of questioning. So
Hmm.
what has changed last 2 years is the art of asking questions. So when I say art of asking questions means what? You have a book in front of you. You are an eighth grade, 10th grade
Okay.
student,
Okay.
and you want to know more about a particular thing. You want to understand acceleration
Hmm.
being taught in eighth standard, right? So
Hmm.
if you need to understand what is the relation between inertia and acceleration, there are two
Yeah.
separate
Yeah.
chapters in science book. Who is going to
Absolutely.
tell you? Your school teacher? Yes. Your tuition teacher? Yes. How many tuition teachers, how many school teachers can have the time if you haven't understood it at
Yes.
once? Maybe twice they will help you.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe thrice.
Definitely.
5 times if you don't understand, that's what happens. We are always
Yes. Yes.
afraid to ask. How
And students are afraid to ask. Yeah.
correct? Because their
Yes.
friends are going
Definitely.
to rag them, they're going to laugh on them. Oh, you do not understand this. The teacher explained you 3 times. We
Yes.
wasted one good session just because you haven't understood,
Yeah.
right? And then they'll feel deprived of the knowledge which they are supposed to receive. Who would they reach out to?
Hmm.
Your tuition teacher is not
Yes.
available all throughout the day. Everyone, you
Yeah.
and me, would have different times of studying, doing your homework, classwork, and whatever. You might be doing it in morning. I would be doing it at 12:30 at night. Who knows? But at 12:30,
Yes. Yeah.
if I haven't understood the difference between inertia and acceleration, or what is the relationship between them, who is going to help me out? No one. And I would just be left without understanding the concept. Forget
Yes.
about understanding and getting good hands-on experience. No, I'm not gonna get it, right? Or a
Yeah, yeah.
teacher full of 250 people in an auditorium for 11th and 12th JE and NEET preparation. Nobody is there to help you out with. Or the existing apps and the ed tech companies who are
Yes.
getting into that, they do not have time, right? And they do not have your learning style. Prana would have a different way of learning. Rishabh would have a different way of learning, right? You would be saying, no,
Definitely,
please
yes.
explain me with examples. And me, please do not explain me with examples. I don't understand, right? But the teacher knows only one way to explain, a
Yes,
Pragyaan,
yes.
because it's a very defined tool. We trained it across different ways of learning, how a student is going to understand, what kind of questions they are going to ask, and they can throw in open
Yes, yeah.
questions. We have trained it up to a level where we challenge people. Toughest of the toughest questions in STEM education can be solved through Pragyaan,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we have
Oh,
challenged, we have won it several times, and hence we have trained it up to a level now that we have our own GPT, Pragyaan GPT, right? That is the power of
that is impressive. Yeah.
right. That is the power of artificial intelligence.
That is really cool. Like, this is the first time I've heard this, because ever since I was reading about the tech startups, even the biggest ones like we have Byju's and all those startups, they don't have this perspective of teaching like this in this particular way. They are just bringing on the highest kind of the famous teachers out there at crores of rupees, and they are spending on them, but that potential is not there with what we just said. So basically at this point, I wanted to ask this, like as you said, Pragyan GPT is one of the products. So at Humanly AI, which are the other products, which you can share with us?
Sure, sure. Our third vertical moves into healthcare, and this is
Okay.
our biggest vertical in terms of the products which
Mm-hmm.
where we have created. India comes, as much as we want to understand artificial intelligence, the biggest
Yes.
adopter of artificial intelligence is healthcare sector, right?
Okay.
After chat GPT, one of the sectors which have got biggest funding is healthcare, though chat
Mm-hmm.
GPT has very little to do with healthcare as a sector, right?
Okay.
People are working towards different specs. One of our key products is detection of
Mm-hmm.
pneumonia through an X-ray report.
Okay.
All right,
Interesting. Yeah.
just by X-ray, you can detect that the person is suffering from pneumonia
Pneumonia.
or not, or what kind of, right, viral or bacterial, and it
Okay.
will also tell you, right, that what is the level of infection. So it is 80%, 70%,
Mm-hmm.
60%, like that. So that when somebody is treating, so when a doctor is treating a patient, he could really upload your x-ray into the account and see, oh, last time it was 86%, now last 2 weeks because he has taken medicines, it has reduced down to just 60%. Next 7 days it should also reduce down to this much percent. So he could see a direct progress in a matter of 2 seconds. He
Okay.
would be able to see it, right, in just 2 seconds. 2 seconds is right, we are talking, you could just wait for it. India, 18 lakh plus people suffer from pneumonia, and close to 1,000 deaths happen in India
Okay.
every year. This is a UNICEF report,
Oh my
right?
God. Yeah.
So you could imagine 1,000 people every day, right, die because of pneumonia. And
That's
rurals,
huge.
if you go outside the city, right, that is such a big problem. Just imagine how many lives could be saved, because not everywhere you would have a radiologist available, not everywhere you would have
Mm-hmm.
tons of technology available, but there is an x-ray. Even if you go to a very remote place,
Yes.
there would be an place where they can take x-ray, right? That
Mm-hmm.
x-ray could be uploaded to our system, and in 2 seconds you could just sense it that okay, this is something that this patient is suffering from this or not. We
Yes,
haven't
yes.
opened it to people. We have opened it to doctors only.
Okay, that is very crazy startup idea. Yeah. Yeah, so actually the thing is, we were also trying to create something like that. So what we were doing with my couple of friends, we were trying to create simple chatbot, like we have chat gpt, which would just put in some simple of what we can say symptoms that they are facing, and in return the chatbot would give the very, I would say, least the primary or first aid medicines for the people out there. But the thing that we faced problem, and that was like the data. We did not get the proper data to train on. So that is what I wanted to ask you about the data, that where did you get from to train on these models. And secondly, I also want to ask you this, and how can you trust that data, and how can you actually say that that would be really useful for training your model.
Sure, Pranav. So, Pranav, there are few things in part of creating a product like what Swast is, right? So,
Okay.
it's not independently that we at Humanly would be able to do it. There are always,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, agencies which support us with. So, in our case, government is gonna support us in providing all that data, right?
Okay.
That whatever
Okay.
information we would want, we would reach out to government and we would ask them that, hey guys, can you provide me that information, or were you tracking that information, or if you have tracked, can you provide us that level of information, right? So
Mm-hmm.
all that
Mm-hmm.
data is that we have to reach out to the right audience. So government of Rajasthan reached out to us and they said, can you create uh, you know a model which can detect silicosis. Silicosis is a severe problem of miners, people those who do mining, right?
Okay.
Those who
Okay.
work in mines, right? Their lungs get affected because of silica, right? The
Yes.
dust
Yes.
which goes in,
Yes. Yes.
it
Yeah.
gets stuck on your
Yeah.
lungs, and eventually it's an eventuality of death also, right? So government want to detect it beforehand, right?
Okay.
Or they
Okay.
want to differentiate it between that if it's a TB or if it's a silicosis. So there at that level,
Mm-hmm.
they were ready to provide that information to us. That okay, how many patients were there, what kind of X-rays, so that we can train it,
Okay.
and then we
Okay.
can create a model around it. And then to improve accuracy and all those kind of things, this is what we would be working on our own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every
Mm-hmm.
time when things are created, they have to substantiate it with the right set of data.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So the thing is, like, even there is website of government of India themselves about data.gov.in. I guess that is the one which provides lot of data sets for training our models also. Even the things, if you want to predict the rainfall, and like there are lots of data sets out there which people can try out. And as you said, governments have the trustworthy things. After that, coming back to the startups, I would wanted to ask this, and that is about AI startups in India. Like, what do you think about the current stage of AI startups in India? What the general, I would say, the environment is, and how that can be changed in couple of years out there.
So I'll start with the last question so that and I'll move forward with the first, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
the adoption rate, India AI adoption, 2 years back, we thought
Okay.
when we started
Okay.
Humanly, we thought we had to tell people what is
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence. Somehow on November 30th,
Yeah.
Chat GPT did that for
Yeah.
us.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
requirement there is that people understand how to use Chat GPT,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There, a lot of startups are creating their own models on
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
which is good
Yes.
in a lot of
Yes.
ways, right? First is it'll create a new startup. Startup means more business means more employment, right?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
how it's gonna help whichever vertical they are gonna work in, right? It's gonna help in that vertical, right? So
Yes.
if you
Yes.
want to create a content based tool using
Mm-hmm.
chat gpt
Mm-hmm.
or any other llm, you can create that, or you can create image based videos or those kind of things. So these are the
Yes.
Yes.
large voluminous based work, right? Which
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
chatbot creation, they have created assistants in terms of chatbots. So you as a company can now directly buy assistants. Assistants, that's what the new name of chatbots are, right? Whichever
Yes.
department
Yes.
you think that, okay, I need a marketing chatbot, so you directly go there and buy it, right? So
Yeah.
it helps you to
Yeah.
grow your business in every possible way. That's the first element. To your second question, which you asked, was how is the environment there? A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
are making it,
Yes.
right? If you ask me, it's such a good thing that whenever I look around, I see a lot of AI based startups. We learn from them, they
Yes.
learn from us. We share a lot of camaraderie across, right? That
Yes.
how and what they
Yes.
are in, what problem they have solved with what kind of thought, those kind of things, right? It help us
Yes.
to
Yes.
formulate our strategies based out on their learning, and their strategies based out on ours. So it creates an
Yes.
ecosystem that a
Yes.
lot of similar people facing similar challenges in terms of both business or customer acquisition or running the
Yes.
business and all those
Yes.
kind of things is helping.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
Mm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the environment is quite friendly. People are
Mm-hmm.
trusting
Mm-hmm.
us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there are
Mm.
pockets of people who do not trust us, is because nobody told them how they can leverage artificial intelligence. Hence, they are
Yes.
waiting for someone to
Yes.
tell them, okay, this is how you need to use AI,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yes.
the moment somebody
Yes.
explains
Yes.
them or make them understand, I'm so sure, they would be in parallel to what other people are. So that's how the
Yes.
ecosystem
Yes.
is.
Yes. Yes. Yes, definitely. We have seen couple of developments as well in India. People are really focused on creating more than consuming. So there was recently one speech of Prime Minister Modi in the southern part of India. So what was there? He was giving the speech, and live there itself he was talking in Hindi, but a lot of people were listening that in their regional language, translated from an AI application called as Bhashini. So that Bhashini converted all that kind of with a very small lag, what I would say, the proper word. So the thing that I got stuck there is because we have the global platforms, we have global applications and companies who are creating very top notch applications, but the Indian audience or the people in India have different tastes. If you just go around different states, you'll see a drastic change in the culture and their style of talking and all the different things. So the thing that I wanted to ask you is there a greater demand of the data itself in India than the application itself?
Um, so application is, of course, inevitable.
Yes. Yeah.
Like the way you
Absolutely.
Yes,
told
yeah, that
me,
is
he
one.
was talking to people in a stadium, and there were hundreds
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
thousands of people. You're hearing him out in a lag of a couple of seconds or so. Just in a matter of few
Yes.
months, the lag would be zero. It would be real time, like you and me.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
being very truthful, right?
Yes.
By
Yes.
Yes.
June,
Yes.
it's gonna be a reality. So you sitting in state of Maharashtra, you need not to talk to me in English.
Yes.
If I am
Yes.
your customer who's sitting in Mexico, then you
Mm-hmm.
can talk to me in
Hmm.
Mexican language, right? Or
Yes.
if I am your
Yes.
customer who is sitting in Japan, you talk to him in Marathi, he is going to reply
Mm-hmm.
to you in
Hmm.
Japanese, right? And then
Yes.
you can still
Yes.
conversate with. This is going to be a real time thing. So technology is
Yes.
moving it
Yes.
at that pace. So it makes it inevitable that if somebody is not using it, so a Bhojpuri student, right, who is doing his final year MTech or final year BTech can now support a company in France, right, without him
Yes.
knowing anything about
Yes.
French. He just need to know
Yes.
what? He just need to
Yes.
know his BTech. So
Yes.
Yes.
language
Yes.
will soon remove the barriers of getting a job done. It could be a
Yeah.
job, it could be a business
Yeah.
leader, it could be anything, right? You just need
Mhm.
to use
Mhm.
that kind of a technology and it will remove the barriers. So it's going to improve jobs availability across the globe. I need not to hire from India anymore. I would just
Yes.
go in
Yes.
Philippines and hire a guy who know Philippines as a language and I am not bothered. Or I'll go to remote places of Arunachal Pradesh and if I want to hire a data scientist, I'll just hire him. He need not to know Hindi or he need not
Yes.
to know English
Yes.
for that matter. The only two languages which I am aware of.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
I can
Definitely.
hire a person
Definitely.
anywhere, anytime, and so as with the global companies. They need not to
Mhm.
be bothered about
Mhm.
it because every job can which was dependent on language for the longest period of our times and can now be removed.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
this is going to be a
Mhm.
reality in a matter of few weeks or maybe even a matter of few months.
Yes. Yes.
That the job
Yes. Yes.
market or the business market is gonna blast. Let me use this word. It's gonna blast.
Mhm.
I need
Mhm.
not to hire a Brazilian, business development person in Brazil to expand
Yes.
my market in
Yes.
Brazil because he know
Yeah.
his language. Now even I would understand whatever I'm gonna talk in Hindi. These guys are gonna understand in their language.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is the speed of technology, right? Wherein
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
who are gonna be early adopters of it, which I think a lot of people have adopted it, like the way we
Yes.
have in last 2 years.
Yes.
We don't have to explain anyone artificial intelligence. They talk to us about artificial intelligence. Even my nani or my elders in the family, they say,
Yes.
"Oh, what new are you
Yes.
creating?" Right. So this is the power of community building, right?
Even the smaller kids out there, who kids out there, they have also got into this pretty early. They also know a lot of stuff about chat gpt, and they are pretty much using in their day-to-day life as well. I was recently reading this book. The book name was actually, it is the Fastlane Millionaire. So in that book, MJ DeMarco, who is the author of that book, he explains something really interesting. He says that, whenever the trend is there, any type of trend, actually a lot of majority of people start to focus on building on the trend. Like, let us say now currently we have AI. Now in AI, people are building products on AI, but the most money and the guaranteed pathway to make money is not to build applications on that, is to build the underlining objects or the material or the resources that every other application will be using. For, let us say, on AI, everyone is building AI applications, but the most money or the most amount of the kind of resources or the most wealth is in actually providing the data, providing the cloud computing, the computing resources, and all those things. So I wanted to ask this exact same question. This question I had also asked to my last guest, who was the he was working in OpenAI. So I asked the same question to him. So what is your take on that?
All right. So there are two aspects of it. Do you want to build another chat GPT? Yes, you can.
Yes.
Is there a need to build another chat GPT? Yes, there is always a need. Hence, there are so many different LLMs, not just
Yes.
chat GPTs, right?
Yes.
So that's one element of it. The second element is the data.
Mhm.
Everything uh, when you talk
Yes.
artificial intelligence is training a machine like a human. A very
Yes.
simple definition to artificial intelligence is make it behave how a human would behave,
Yes.
right? That's how.
Yes.
But to know how a human is going to behave, there has to be substantiated with the right set of data, right? So if there is no data on what you are going to train it on, so there is nothing as a
Yes.
background where you are going to train it on,
Yes.
right? So you first generate or create that data set for you, and then make it train on it, and then AI is going to work the way you would ask it to be, right?
Yes.
That's how. The second element to your question is, you know, can we as Indians, yes, you know, like what we have created our own GPT, right?
Yes.
Uh, there are ISRO or DRDO
Yes.
or anyone, they are not using ChatGPT,
Yes.
right? They are using their own
Yes.
indigenously trained data, which they already would have, and have created their own GPTs,
Okay.
right? So the data is there. You just need to know what is that which you want to create of that data, right? So if ISRO wants to use a particular model, so they would have the data, they would create their own GPT, and then they are already be using it. Of course, you and me would not know it, is because we do not work in there,
Yes.
but they would
Yes.
already be using it way before ChatGPT or any of these companies already had it, right? Because they are the sharpest of the sharpest mind in this country, right? So they have been using it, maybe, I don't know for how long back, because I'm not an expert in calculating
Yes.
it, yet they would have their own
Yes.
ways of doing and tracking artificial and creating artificial intelligence products for their own consumption. AI
Yes.
is new in B2C segment, but
Yes.
AI itself is not
Yes.
new,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
है ना?
It's very
Like that. So what?
interesting side.
Correct. So
Yes.
you and me, when we were being tagged on Facebook 10 years back,
Yes.
if you upload your
Mhm.
family photo 10 years back, Facebook would automatically tag them just by looking at that photo. Oh, this is Rishabh Nag, this is Mrs. Rishabh Nag, this is this child. Facebook would automatically tag them. 10 years back, they already had this. So just imagine ISRO and these high tech
Yes.
entities in India, right, which are indigenously data driven, would of
Yes.
course would have it at their disposal also.
Yes.
So it's not that everything is what is being created always has to come from outside India.
Yes.
Technology is always there, right? It's all about how are you going to leverage and use an existing platform. So ChatGPT is a platform, right? What you build over it is
Yes.
completely
Yes.
yours.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, definitely, Rishabh.
Yes.
That was great insight out there. And coming back to the startup thing, the students in India, they are like heavily focused now on building their own startups because of the startups wave and people getting a lot of funding in AI applications. So the next question that I wanted to ask you is, let us say there are students, a few students who want to also create their own startups in college, but they don't know where to get started actually. So the underlying factor behind this is because of Shark Tank, and there was a report basically which was saying that because of Shark Tank India, people are like in their family as well, people are having dinner table conversations like equities, building funding, and building startups and all those things. So I wanted to ask you the like what would be the top five startup ideas for students who are in college with no investment needed, or let us see if just a small investment needed if possible. What would be
Great question,
the
Pranav.
which would be the startups ideas for
Like
them?
the way I told you, before we started our own firm, we did
Yes.
brainstorming of over 70 different business ideas, right?
Yes.
Where did all these business ideas came in from? There is no business idea. There's no word like business
Yes.
idea. Everything you think, if there is a problem in the process, then you have to improve it. So if you ride a bike, if you
Yes.
ride a car, if there is a speed breaker, there is a reason why there is a speed breaker, so that you drive in a proper way. But there is no reason why there is a speed breaker on a very high pace moving highway, right? There are speed breakers on city roads,
Yes.
but there is no reason why there is no speed breakers on high moving, high paced highways. Why? Because it will break their uh,
Momentum.
momentum. That is the similar process in our lives also. We always want to simplify our lives
Yes, definitely.
in whatever process. If you wanted to go to from one place to another, 12
Yes.
years back, you were still be able to do it. If I
Yes.
want to move from one city to another, right, I was able to book a cab. If I want to move from one place to another, I was still making that cab. But
Yes.
somebody created an app, and they created in a way where you and me can easily do it.
Yes.
The word is soften the process, easy the process, smooth the process
Yes.
for anything and everything. So if you think there is a problem and there are a lot of um, hindrances in that process,
Yes.
then there is a chance of creating a business idea. Startup is another name for business idea,
Mhm.
right? When you are small, it's called as startup. When you are big, you are called as industry, or you are called as an bigger organization, right?
It's a
So
fancy
when you
name,
are
yeah.
at a very nascent stage, it is always called as a startup, right? But at and what am I doing? I'm doing business.
Yes.
I'm taking money from somebody else for my product or for my service. Business is like this. This is also business. So whatever products you think is are useful or is gonna smoothen any process,
Mm. Yes.
that will be a business idea.
Yes.
So reach out to your inner circle, your friend circle group, your parents, your
Yes.
neighbors, and ask them, or you yourself would, see a lot of problems. Yo, there is a serious problem. I should create a business model which solve this problem,
Yes.
or this process should be far more smoothened,
Yeah.
right? It should be far more quick. Instead of 7 days, now it should be in a matter of few minutes or
Yes.
few hours, right? It should always be like that. Wherever, whichever industry, whichever um, you know, um, whichever country or whichever sector, it's just a matter of time that you sit over things and
Yes.
then you think and then you calibrate what is that which I need to work upon. That is
Okay.
plain simple vanilla thing. Second thing is please study, watch things around you. If you are a working professional or have 4, 5, 6 years of experience, then find out ideas how you can improve
Okay.
your day to day workings in terms of your process improvement. Those are also ideas, right?
Yes.
That's how. If you're a student, you will create student based idea. If you're a
Yes.
doctor, you would your focus area would be in healthcare sector. If you're an educator, your focus would be there. So everyone creates an idea around them. If you're a son or a father of a farmer, your idea can revolve around agriculture. Not necessary. No, nothing is necessary, right?
Yes.
Yet जहाँ भी wherever you will find out problems, you will be able to create solutions. But not every problem has to be substantiated with a solution. Sometimes there are a lot of problems you need not to work upon it. Those are problems, they will always be, right? Create a new route, right, so that problems are
Yes.
solved in a easier manner. Not necessarily every problem solving method would also have a commercial model around it. So whenever you think upon business idea, think upon commercial model. How am I going to monetize it? If
Yes.
there is no monetization, unit economics in your head, there is no business around it.
Yeah.
All right. So always think upon monetization. How am I going to monetize it? If there is no unit mathematics around it, there is no business in it. just giving in free gyan. Free also have to be substantiated with the unit economics, right? Why are you
Yes.
doing anything for free? That's it.
Even the social media is also not free today. They are also fighting for people's attention, and that is the most expensive thing now you can get in this world. That is people's attention.
Yes, 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 yes,
Even
absolutely.
yes,
Yes.
yeah,
People especially young or folks should always watch their digital well-being, and
Okay.
these many hours. How much time have you spent on which app? Every day you should track it,
Hmm.
right?
yes,
And you would know, if you are a working professional, if your salary is 1 lakh rupees a month,
Yes.
means 20 days, 22 days you are work. So divide 1 lakh by 22 days.
Okay.
Then 22 days, 9 hours, 8 to 9 hours should be your productive hours. So
Okay.
divide that 1 day's salary to an hour's salary, and then equate it to the number of your digital well being. How many hours you have spent on your screen. This is your loss which you are making every day. Your productive
yeah,
hours.
yes.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
For
it.
students as well, not just for working professionals. Yes,
It is for students as well, not just for working
Yes, yes,
professionals.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
meet a lot of young folks. They spend at least
Yes.
3 to 4 hours on phone, on their screen.
Even
And
that
this is
is not.
I'm talking about from the age
yeah.
of 16 till 26 years of age. I'm
Yes.
I
not
think
saying
that
people above that are not doing that much, but
Yes.
this is their average time, right? This is their average
Definitely.
time. They play games, they are on Instagram, social media, or they are, or something or the other has hooked them up onto their
yes,
screen,
Yes.
yes,
right? So this is the hours wastage which you are doing. So
yes, yes,
you have to curb
Definitely.
on your own time. This is your own brain, your own eyes, your own health, your own money. I always talk about money on the table.
Yes.
yes, yes.
That's the
So
wastage which you are doing.
yes, yes, definitely.
Definitely. Students watching this will be definitely benefited from that. And after that, before ending this podcast, I really want to ask this question, and that is, you know, your own perspective and your own tips you want to share with students so they can make money in college, or they can make their first income in the college as well. And what's your take on money from that? Your perspective on money.
So I always say to all the
Okay.
young folks, right,
Yeah.
um, of young age or
Yes.
young at heart, both of them,
Okay.
right? You always need to enhance your education. Your education is not just the books which have been prescribed to you
Okay.
by academia, right? There are books uh, which helps you to learn more about different
Yes.
perspectives of life. I'm not just talking
Yes.
about philosophy. I'm talking about learning books from other
Definitely.
subjects. So if you are a BTech, MTech students, learn more about philosophy, learn more about political science, learn more about
Yes.
economics. The same goes for people those who are studying economics. They should also know, how I can
Yes.
leverage tech, or how I can leverage other subjects, how I can leverage history in
Yes.
my job, right? Or
Yes.
how I can leverage geography in your job. As so, I've been a
Okay.
management consultant, and my job was to talk about everything under the sun.
Yes.
I have to understand all of it. How I could do it is I read hundreds and hundreds of books, right? It gives you at
Yes.
least knowledge. Second is perspective. Talk to, create
Okay.
associations. Always talk to a smarter guy than you.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to find smarter people than you. It'll help you to create a better circle. It'll help you to formalize what is in your head and put it across to the smarter people whom you are interacting
Yes.
with,
Yes.
right? It'll help you to get a perspective around it.
Yes.
A person who is rich, less aware than
Yes.
you, yes, he might
Yeah.
also give you a perspective. Who knows that the
Mhm.
perspective is relevant or the right fitment for you? If the person is
Mhm.
not yet smart, or you do not consider him
Okay.
as smart as you, his perspective is
Yes.
of no use, right? But a smarter guy, like I always talk to people who are elder to me, right? They are alive because they have understood a particular perspective about a
Yes.
particular thing more than me. Hence, they are alive. Otherwise, they would be dead
Definitely.
for some or the
Yeah.
other reason, right? So, the more smarter you want to become, the more bigger and better your circle and your association
Yes.
is. So if you're a student, reach out to professors. Be in touch with all your seniors, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years seniors. If they come for an alumni meet, go and meet and take
Yes.
feedback from them. How is the corporate world? Or if they are doing business or startup, reach out to them for all the discussions. Don't just poke them with
Yes.
questions. Just hear them out. Right, it will give you help you to formulate a better perspective. Better perspective means better outlook, means you have an understanding of a particular thing
Yes.
which you don't have to live, you just have to leverage their understanding in your life. Simple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, this
Definitely,
advice
this
will
would be
be
really
helpful
helpful
for
for
students.
students out there.
And thank you
And
very much,
thank you very
Rishabh,
much,
for
Rishabh,
joining me
for
on this
joining on this
podcast.
podcast.
I know that
Because
your time
of
was really
the
valuable,
LinkedIn
and I
bio,
think our
I was
students
really
will
intrigued to talk to
helpful
you
and
and,
they will get a lot of
just
knowledge from this
have
podcast.
something, someone who is like kind of totally involved into AI and building applications.
Yes.
Sure, sure. I think it's always a privilege to share about what is your experience, and if one
Okay.
person, if I'm able to reach out to even one person in the right set of way, then I'm happy, from our discussion. So best of luck for all your endeavors. It was great talking to you, Pranav. Very insightful questions, and I think
Yes, for sure.
discussions leads to more innovative thoughts. So you also gave a lot of perspective to how we should look at things. So great
Definitely, definitely.
initiative.
We'll
I hope
surely
we
meet
continue doing it,
in
but we
person
keep on learning
sometime.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,